The H-1B visa is one of the most competitive visa programs in the US, and in this video, I'm going to show you what you need to know before applying for your H-1B visa. How's it going? My name is Kieran. I came to the US as an international student athlete, and now I work as an engineer for a Fortune 500 company. And I actually recently got the H-1B visa. So before getting into applying, what is the H-1B visa? So according to the USCIS website, the H-1B visa is a foreign worker visa in the United States that allows US employers to hire foreign nationals in so-called specialty occupations. Now, these foreign workers can already be located in the US. They can be students who are on the F1 visa or the OPT or STEM OPT, or they can be located outside the US. To be eligible, you need to have at least a bachelor's degree or equivalent accreditation. This visa is especially sought after by former international students who are on an F1 visa, like myself. It's a very common pathway to graduate, do your OPT, do your STEM OPT, and then hopefully by that time, you get your H1B. So here we are. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in getting the H1B. So let's get started and talk about what you need to do to prepare before you apply for the H1B. Now, the very first thing that you need to understand before you apply or get ready for the H1B visa is that you can't apply for the H1B visa. The H1B process is employer driven. This means that you can't apply on your own. You need a US company to sponsor you throughout this process. If you're in a position where you don't have a job offer or you're jobless from a US company, you can't even start the H1B process. The very first thing you need to do is find a company, a US company, that's willing to sponsor you. And this is often the hardest step, if I'm honest. The second thing you need to understand, that the H1B visa is given out in a lottery system. When you apply, you are applying to put your name into the lottery or your petition into the lottery. And just like any lottery, this is random. So it doesn't matter if you graduated from a better school, it doesn't matter if your GPA was, a 4.0, it simply doesn't matter. It's a lottery system. Your petitions go in and they get randomly selected. Now, if you want to understand the process, there is another YouTuber who created a great video, and I'll put the video link in the description or in the comments. And I don't want to repeat what they said because it's already pretty good. But what the lottery process looks like is that there is a limit as to how many H-1B visas they are allowed to give out. Now, the limit, as of when I'm making this video, is 65,000. There's 65,000, and then there is an additional 20,000 spots for those who hold a master's degree. So in total, there's actually 85,000 spots. However, master's students can also get picked in the first 65,000. You may be thinking that 65,000, 85,000 is a big number. Let's look at how many total registrations there has been for the H-1B visa in the last 3 years. Last year, there was 479,953 registrations. The year before that, 780,884 registrations. And then the year before that, 483,927 registrations. You do the math and figure out, what are your chances of getting the H-1B lottery? They're pretty slim. I know people who got the H-1B visa on their very first try, straight out of school. And I know people who have been in the US for over 6 years and they still haven't got the H-1B visa lottery. So just understand, it's a lottery. And if you want to talk about how to increase your chances, there's a lot of people who talk about that as well. The third thing, and I kind of touched on this earlier, is make sure that you're eligible. So you found a US employer, you understand that it's a lottery. Now you need to make sure that you're eligible. So you need to have at least a bachelor's degree to be eligible for the H-1B visa program or an equivalent accreditation. You want to be in that extra 20,000 slot for the master's students. You need to make sure that your master's degree is also accredited. Don't make the mistake of assuming that, oh, I have a master's, so I'm automatically considered in that. Make sure you double check that you're eligible. Now the fourth thing you need to do to prepare for the H1-B application, work with the employer to ensure that all the information is correct. So as I mentioned in step 1, the H1-B visa is an employer-driven process. So occasionally the employers will have their own lawyers that will assist you throughout the process to ensure you have the best chances of getting the visa. Even though it's a lottery, make sure that your paperwork is correct, because the last thing you want is getting picked and then getting rejected because your paperwork was incorrect. Now the fifth thing, which is very important, just as important as everything else, I guess, everything in here is very important, is know the dates. You need to know when does the application period open, when is the visa lottery held, when do you need to submit everything by. And every year the timing is the same, but the dates can change. So early March, USCIS usually opens registration. This registration portal is open for about 2 weeks. Towards late March, USCIS will conduct the lottery and, fill up those 65,000 or 85,000 spots. Now from April onwards, once the people who have been selected have been notified, they have a window to submit their petition. So now that you've been picked in the lottery, you've been notified, and now you need to submit the petition, which is form I-129. This is usually filled out by the employer or the employer's lawyers. Now there are cases when the paperwork is not filed on time. Okay, so when this happens, USCIS will actually conduct a second round of the lottery to fill up those 85,000 spots. And this is in that YouTube video that I'm going to link, and they go into it a lot better. And so yeah, USCIS will hold a second lottery, and that can be around July or August. Now I will say a second lottery is, it's not very common, but it does happen. 2024 I got picked in the second lottery. In 2023 they did not do a second lottery, and then I believe in 2022 they did 3 lotteries. So those are the 5 things you need to familiarize yourself with before applying for the H1-B visa. So 1, understand that you cannot apply. You have to find a US employer that will sponsor you for the H1-B visa process. Number 2, understand that it is a lottery, so the selection process is completely random. There's really no way of increasing your chances unless you have an advanced degree like a master's. Then you'll be eligible for the additional 20,000 slots that are dedicated for those with an advanced degree. Number 3, make sure that you're actually eligible. So ensure that your bachelor's degree that you hold or your master's degree has the proper accreditation, eligible for the H1-B visa program. Number 4, work with your employer to ensure that all your information is correct. You'll be working with your employer's lawyers to fill out all of the information. The least you can do is make sure that your name is spelled right or your address is correct. Number 5, familiarize yourself with all of the important dates. When does USCIS open the registration portal? When does the registration portal close? When is the lottery conducted? If there is a second lottery, when is that conducted? It's really important to know all of these dates. That's all I had for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck on your H1-B visa journey.